What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally back. We are here. We're finally going to have something to talk about. We are finally going to be talking about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6. Guys, there is so much in this episode we need to discuss, but this is going to be spoilers, obviously, of what you're seeing. Go watch the episode, and then come back here if you want, and we will talk about it some more. But y'all, this episode was incredible. Incredible. It was incredible. We have where the Mandalorian, aka Din Djarin, is taking, of course, Baby Yoda to Tython. He is basically helping him practice with the force pull and everything. And as soon as that happens, we see where come on, get it, and then he notices that how powerful he is. He's like, dang it. And it almost looked like Baby Yoda's a little upset. He's like, no, I'm not mad at you. He says, I know you're powerful. He says, that's why I'm proud of you for what you can do. And then they're finally going around Tython, and he sees the big stones in the middle stone. He's like, okay, well, we're going to have to do this another way. He says, because I don't have the means to land that close, so we're going to have to go another way. So he basically gets on, uses his jetpack to go ahead and fly him to the middle stone, and he sets him down. He says, okay, this is what, of course, Ahsoka told me to do, but what do we do? And he basically states that he's like, well, I don't know what to do. He starts looking around. He goes, well, what exactly can I do? He says, I don't know what to do. He says, maybe there's something I need to push or something. And he just doesn't see anything. Next thing you know, he just starts seeing Baby Yoda in basically meditation form is the only way I know how to describe this. And he just starts, like, this huge amount of energy just starts going up in the air that is circulating from the circle in him. And basically he creates a barrier, which I'm guessing is more than likely from him, and he's concentrating his energy, and the rock is, I guess, helping him concentrate and zoom up higher, so that way he can send out a signal to the to whoever that may pick it up for a Jedi. And what was so cool about this is as soon as he's doing this, he tries to, I guess, alert the child, and he says, hold up. He says, and we get to see Slave One, aka Boba Fett, arrives on Tython. And then he goes, kid, we gotta go. And he just goes back from the shield. He's like, okay, I'll buy you some time. And as soon as he sees this, he basically does see, which was crazy. He goes and he starts basically, he knows that there's one there. And then we see Boba Fett return. He says, I've been tracking you for a long time, Mandalorian. And he basically says, are you a Jedi, or are you here for the child? And he says, I want the armor. And he basically says that, he goes, you want my armor, you have to peel it off my dead body. And what was so cool about this is that he says, I don't want your armor, I want mine. That belonged to me, it belonged to my father. And he goes, and basically he does tell him that, that's his armor, and he says it belongs to a Mandalorian. And he says, again, it belongs to my father. He says, well, I'm not going to let you have it. And he says, well, you may want to. He says, well, why is that? Because there's a sharpshooter pointed, and basically does show that is, guess who's back? Hence, she survived because Boba Fett found her and helped her. So he basically says, ain't pointing at you, it's pointing at your little friend on the ridge. So if, everything goes well, then we're not going to let nothing happen, and we can go about our business, so that way you and I can have a talk. And he goes, okay. And finally he says, put down your jetpack, and I'll basically tell her to stand down. And he does that, and he just looks at, of course, him, and then they start going down. He goes, well, how are you still alive? And she basically finds out that he used cybernetics to basically help her survive, and she says, now I'm in his debt. And what was so crazy about this is that he informs Din that, he, of course, again, that's his armor, and he's trying to make sure that, he returns, that was rightfully his. And what we do see is when that happens, we see more ships, more stormtrooper for platoons arrive. And when that happens, we see when they arrive, Din goes one way and Henson as well as Boba go the other way. And what was so cool about this was absolutely amazing, because Boba was alpha in this freaking episode, guys. He was a badass. He beat the crap out of so many stormtroopers with just his sand people like club. He beat the crap out of these stormtroopers. He beat the living mess out of them, and he broke the face mask of like several troopers, killed them. And while Zen, she's like sharpshooting everybody. And what was so cool was the entire time, all I'm seeing is Jango and Zam. And if you guys don't know a whole lot about their story, go play Star Wars Bounty Hunter that has Jango Fett and literally shows Sam Roselle as well. And what was so cool about this is we get to see where they're just taking out stormtroopers left and right. And Din tries to go back up to the top of the hill to try to get the child, and again he just flies back like 3 times and knocks him out for a few minutes. And what was so crazy is he literally states, I don't know what, like, I can't get up. Next thing you know, Boba is about ready to take on more stormtroopers, and then he sees, of course, his ship, Din Djarin's ship, and he sees his armor. So of course, what is he going to go do? Then Din gets up and he basically tells the child, look, okay, I'm going to go ahead, kid, we gotta go, kid, we gotta go, kid, we gotta go. But he unfortunately cannot hear him. He's in that state of concentration and he can't hear him. He says, fine, I'm gonna protect you. As soon as he leaves, we see where the force field goes down. He's exhausted, and we just see this huge shootout with Zen. We see, of course, Din, and he basically says, you know, okay, let's basically, like, gets in that mode, like, all right, let's do this. And they start fighting. And we see where he tells her, okay, you need to go. And he starts using the flying birds about this. And she says, you got to go. And he says, no. He says, you go. He says, I owe you from last time. She says, we have a deal. We're going to honor it. And as soon as that happens, he basically is taking the shots from the stormtroopers while she's trying to snipe everybody. And as soon as that happens, looks like they're about ready to go down. Here comes a huge blast grenade. In comes Boba Fett, all his glory, that we have been wanting to see for so many years. Guys, he annihilates these stormtroopers. He annihilates them. He uses his hand-to-hand combat. He uses his blaster. He uses his missile bombs from his wrist, his pads. Absolutely incredible. He annihilates them. And then, right when the platoon of troopers see this, they get scared, they run off, and they just start running. And then right when they get into the second platoon ship, when they're blasting off, we see where he blasts the second one, and it goes right into the first one. Again, this is a lot of callback to the sequel trilogy, but this made it so much better than the sequel trilogy. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you guys are sequel fans, that's cool, but this was a hell of a lot better than the sequel trilogy. I don't care what anyone says. This is so much better than the sequel trilogy. Mandalorian is literally keeping Star Wars alive right now. And he goes, nice shot. And he says, I wasn't aiming for that, but still. And then as soon as they see the Dark Troopers descend onto the Tomb Ridge area, as soon as they see that, we basically see right where they grab the child, and Mando's trying to hurry up and get him, and they don't get him in time. And basically we do see where, of course, Zen told Bubba to go back to the ship, and she says he can get him. And right when he's about ready to take a blast, Din's like, no, we can't risk that, because the ship gets blown up by the Star Cruiser, by the Imperial Cruiser, and now the ship's gone. The Razor Crest is destroyed, completely destroyed. And we see where he says, hold on, I'm going to take a look. And then Boba, within Slave One, which we have not seen in 30 years, more than 30 years. And he basically says, they're back. And then she's like, what are you talking about? He says, the Empire, they're back. And she says, no, the New Republic controls the outer rim, and he's like, no, he says, I'm seeing with my own eyes they're back, and he says, I'm coming back, and he basically informs him while Mando is looking around for whatever survived, and the only two things that survived was the Beskar spear, as well as also the little ball from the shift in the ship. And he basically, Mando's pissed, like, okay, I'm gonna get him back. And he basically states, to Mando, he basically, Bubba looks at him and he shows that his coating has been in the armor for 25 plus years, and he says, this is me, Boba Fett, this was my father. And he looks at him, he goes, so your father was a foundling? He says, yes, he was. He says he fought in the Mandalorian Civil War. And he goes, well, then I guess that armor does belong to you. And he says, okay. He says, this is the only thing that survived. He says, well, Beskar is best. He says, and he just looks at him. He says, well, I guess our deal's done then. And he goes, no, not quite. He says, well, what do you mean? He goes, you gave me my armor back. He says, and we in return told you the child would be safe. And he goes, but the child is gone. He says, well, that's the whole point. We're going to help. And so pretty much that does say, hey, we're going to help you get him back. And they go to Slave One, go back to go get reinforcements. Mando goes talk to Cara Dune. He informs her, I guess she is part of the New Republic now as a marshal, and she has certain guidelines he has to follow. He's looking for an ex-sharpshooter who we saw in the heist episode, Riggs. It basically is going to break him out and basically use him to get aboard Moff Gideon's ship. And basically she says, again, I'd do anything for you. She says, but I got to follow certain guidelines. And then he goes, they have the kid, and their face expression changed. So more than likely she's going to go. As soon as she tells Griff Karga, of course, that they got the kid, he's gonna go. So we see Moff. He goes into the prison cell where Baby Yoda is, and Baby Yoda is, basically flying these guys everywhere, using force chokes, slamming against one another, and Moff is basically mimicking him, saying, "Oh, you're just so tired because you've gotten real good at that." And then he says, how long has it been since you've seen one of these? And he shows him the Darksaber. And it almost looks like Baby Yoda wants to hold it. He says, He says, be my luck. He says, you try to poke my eye out with one of these things. He says, but how about you take a very good sleep? And they stun him. And he goes to sleep. And he looks at the, I guess the bridge lieutenant or someone. And he basically tells them, make sure you get to the doctor so that way we have our donor. And that's how it ends. This episode was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I have nothing but love and respect for everything that they've done for Star Wars. I mean, this is amazing. This is something I know that any Star Wars fan has been wanting since day one. And we got it with Boba Fett, and now this is the big return that we have wanted for so many years, and we finally got it. So, and Robert Rodriguez actually was part of this, so thank you to him. Thank you to Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, all these guys. Thank you, just thank you for everything that you have done for us. And this does set up so much for the next episode for Boba Fett series. I got a feeling that she's going to be part of it. That was set up. But guys, imagine this for the next episode. What if we get to see Boba Fett, Zen, Cara Dune, Greef Karga? What if we also get to see Bo-Katan with the other two Mandalorians and Ahsoka go rescue Baby Yoda? That is a small army. That is a small army. Guys, I love this episode. I hope you guys did too. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Hope you guys are enjoying your day as well. And as always, I'll see you on the next video and in the comment section down below. See you later.